Hello everyone and a massive welcome to the first video for Star Wars Play Build Collect. I've been working on videos for this channel for some time, really wasn't sure what to do as a first video. The first trailer for Season 2 of Andor dropped yesterday and I thought what better way to start the channel than with a look at this fantastic series. First up we start off with a series of shots of characters walking away from the camera. This is Cassian in that slick look that we see again later on. On Andor's left we see that stepped forum area. There's also another open area on the right. And in the foreground here we can see somebody walking to what look like alien dogs. We move to what looks like maybe an explosion in the forum area. Given that Andor was carrying a bag in the previous scene, is it possible that he plants a bomb here? When previous stills of this area came up online before, a lot of people thought this was the Gorman massacre. Of course that's a very famous incident from across lore. And it was mentioned by Mon Mothma in Season 1. So we know it's going to be a big catalyst, so I think it's fair to say they're probably going to include it here at some point. I wonder if they're going to come up with some kind of interesting subversion of the idea. The traditional narrative here was always that this was an imperial massacre of a peaceful protest. And I wonder if the idea they're going to have here is Andor plants a bomb which would subvert that story altogether. Flipping the narrative of a traditional piece of lore like that, it seems to me the sort of thing Tony Gilroy might do. What do you think about that? Let me know. Andor now once again walking away from the camera. He seems to have some kind of military uniform here. I don't recognise the uniform. If you know what this is, please let me know. And this corridor he's in, very, very slick, high-tech looking, very reminiscent of something like perhaps Camino or maybe Alderaan. Don't think it's either of those planets. If you have an idea of what you think this is, if you can match this up to something in lore, again, let me know. Next we see someone what looks like rigging a speeder to explode perhaps. And we have what looks like a very run down street, lots of brickwork here. Could this possibly be Ferrex? What do you think? And one more thing to note, I think if you look over there on the right hand side there's a little archway. Is it possible that that writing there is in Mando, the Mandalorian language? Is it possible that this could be Navarro, the main world from the Mandalorian? And another Andor back to camera corridor shot. Once again a world I don't recognise. At first I thought this might be the tenement block where Cyril Khan's mother lives, but I've checked that and they don't match at all, so perhaps this is just somewhere new. We do see this again later on, so more on that in a second. Another walkway shot, this time it's Bix, and she's shooting what looks like an Imperial security agent. It could also be Imperial Army, of course they're very similar uniforms, but I can't really tell whether this is the black of the security division or the green of the army. Andor now in an Imperial uniform. We can see the Imperial logo there on his left shoulder. And I think this is the same uniform he's wearing when he steals the TIE fighter. Next shot's a great one. I like this one. This is Andor. He's obviously unmistakably on Yavin 4. We can see the X-Wings. We can see the pilots in their customary orange flight suits. And of course we've got all the rebel troopers. You can see them in the two shades of brown and tan and the dark blue trousers and jackets, all stuff we saw from Rogue One. This is a very big Rogue One throwback scene, this one. I really like Cassian's outfit here as well. Very stylish outfit with that real Corellian gunslinger type of look to it. Two shots now from the same sequence. Somebody running away in a cornfield. Not quite sure what they're running towards there. But then in the next scene we see these stormtroopers chasing and firing at them. The real question here is, what planet are we on? Lots of rumours this could be Dantooine. We know that they planned originally to show Dantooine in Rogue One. There was concept art that did show some wheat fields there. The other world from lore we know that has a lot of wheat fields is of course Lothal from Star Wars Rebels. More on that in a second. Of course this could just be a completely new world. Cassian with that red-shouldered Imperial uniform. And it seems like he's flying a prototype of the TIE Avenger here. Then we have rockets firing from these add-on wing pods for what still could be the Avenger prototype. The cornfields here would suggest we're still on the same planet as the previous scenes. And this looks to be a new type of Imperial transport here. I can't quite make it out of anything we already know in lore. It appears to be open-topped and I think you can see a couple of stormtroopers standing in the back of it. Shot Saw Gerrera next. I love Saw. If you've watched Star Wars Rebels, you know this is about the sort of time when he starts to go off the rails. And you can see his look here is very similar to what we see in both Rebels and Rogue One. There's our first look at Mon Mothma now, and she appears to be at some kind of party. Or more likely this could be the actual wedding of her daughter that we was working towards during Season 1. Next for me, what was one of two of the biggest surprises of the trailer, Just this only shot of Luther. This is the only shot we get of him in the trailer at all, and considering he was one of the major characters in Season 1, one of my favourite characters from Season 1 as well, so I'm very surprised to see him so little in this trailer. Maybe we'll see him more in another trailer later on. Why do you think he wasn't included more in this trailer? It's great to see a scene of Bix and Cassian working together here in Season 2. Even Adria herself wasn't really sure what was going to happen to Bix in Season 2, but we can see here almost obligatory shot in every action movie now of heroes walking away and casually pressing a button and blowing up a bomb in the background. Given Hood, I guess this ties into what we saw from Bix in the earlier scene. What do you think here? Do you think this is maybe Coruscant? Is she attacking the ISB building? I think it would make sense for her to want revenge for what they did to her. Two shots now of Orson Krennic. I'm very, very pleased to see him back. I think it's great this show has dived into the other characters from Rogue One and fleshed out some of the other characters too. We see him here in two separate scenes. We also know that at some point he goes to the ISB building, and there's another scene featuring him later on in the trailer, so we know he's in at least 4 scenes. I think it's great they didn't just have him do just one casual walk on. It's great to see the character getting multiple scenes for me. And it's fantastic to see the almost completed Death Star again with the missing dish that we see installed right at the start of Rogue One. Now we have this mysterious shot looking over this dead body, and the ships in the background are from Saw Gerrera's Cavern Angels squadron. When the ships take off, we can see at least 6 X-Wings. I'm really not sure what this transport is. Do you know what this is? I think it has the same grey and white markings of the Cavern Angels. I think it's one of Saw's ships, but I don't recognise the design. If you know what this is, please let me know. Cassian again now in what appears to be the Forum location, this time using a scoped rifle. I'm not familiar with this rifle. If you know what it is, let me know. Cassian seems really surprised when this explosion goes off, but we can see there's already a lot of bodies on the floor, so this is already way into whatever this incident is. So again, I can't help but wonder what I said earlier about maybe Cassian being partly responsible for the Gorman massacre. What a massive twist that would be. 2 more characters from Season 1 with very brief appearances. I think this is Clea looking very upset and very run down in this scene, looking very angry with Cassian. Then we have Brasso with another section from the Wheatfield scene. Now we return to the corridor that we saw Andor walking down earlier. This clip is very dark, so I've taken the liberty of brightening this one up for us. And we have what looks like a new Imperial unit of some kind. Now I think given the black and white colour scheme and the fact that the guy second from the left is wearing an ISB jacket under his armour, I think it's fair to say they're at least connected with the ISB. But I really wonder if they might be diving into the old lore here as they have done many times in the past. And I wonder if this could actually be Comp Force. Comp Force, if you don't know, are the military arm of Compnor, and Compnor is the overarching political body that the ISB is part of. Now those background details come from the old West End Games role-playing books from the 90s. And I have that book, so if you'd like to see me cover it on the channel, let me know. Of course, they could just be something completely new. We know they like to introduce new Imperial units because they sell a lot of merch. The next scene is the other big surprise. As I said earlier, Luthen only appearing once very briefly was a shock. Dedra Meero, this is the only scene she's in the whole trailer. It's just this one very brief glimpse. I find that really surprising considering she was one of the main standout characters from Season 1. Given the disaster that occurred at Ferrix at the end of Season 1, I can only imagine she's going to have a massive fall from grace. I really hope it doesn't mean she's only going to appear very briefly in the new series though. In the background we can see some stormtroopers, possibly even a stormtrooper with his helmet off, and we can see one of those new troopers with the black trousers we saw in a previous scene too. Really curious to know what you think about Dedra's lack of involvement in this trailer. We return to Krennic and what appears to be some other ISB officers in the background. I think in the foreground to the left that could be Mon Mothma, and I think to her right could be Davo. Now if this is the case, it'll be really interesting to see what Davo's connection to Krennic is. I mean, it might just be the case that Mon, we know, has to meet with some of the Imperials at time. We know from a line of dialogue in Season 1 that Perrin organised the dinner with Sly Moore, who's of course one of the close aides to Palpatine. So it's possible this is an innocent meeting, but Davo's connection to Krennic could be very interesting. Another brief shot of this possible TIE Avenger prototype being stolen. Then another clip of the party we saw earlier. This appears to be Mon Mothma dancing in a very ecstatic way. This is interesting because we've never really seen her let her hair down or have any kind of real social time in any of her previous appearances across the franchise. I presume this next brief clip is again of the Cavern Angels because a ship in the middle there seems to match the one that was taken off from the planet earlier. think this could be Mon and Perrin meeting with Davo and his wife, and it seems like this is a camera droid there. And a very brief blink and you'll miss it clip of Kay. I was really hoping we'd get a line of dialogue from Kay. Sadly not in this trailer, maybe the next one. Stormtroopers running into an Imperial hangar. It seems to be the same hangar as the one the ship was stolen from earlier. One curious note is the fact that outside it appears to be a dark world, whereas earlier when we see Cassian flying the TIE prototype, it was in the wheat field in the sun, so perhaps he either uses it on different days or maybe takes it from one planet and goes to another with it. I'm guessing this is Cassian's reunion with Bix. You see the TIE fighter in the wheat field there in the background, so I presume this is a continuation of the earlier scene. Looks like we have a return of the Imperial security troopers from the end of Season 1, and it looks like they're dealing with another riot. Wonder if this scene could actually be the Gorman massacre and the other scene we saw earlier could be a red herring. I don't recognise this vehicle, but this could be the same street we saw earlier with the Mandalorian rioting, perhaps? First look at Cyril, and he's still wearing that shirt and tie combo from Season 1. But it looks like he's working with some Imperial security agents there behind him. It looks like it could be the entrance of some kind of mansion. I wonder if this is where they're going to arrest Mon Mothma. Can't tell what this is in the foreground. I wonder if this is perhaps a riot shield or the windscreen of a vehicle, but we appear to again have the riot in the background. Are the two characters in the background there relevant? Perhaps this is the rescue of Mon Mothma. We get a quick glimpse of Melshi. Great to see this character. Really enjoyed him in Season 1. As it'd be great to see how he ties into Rogue One. Bit of a mystery clip this one. Looks like somebody potentially pulling a gun, maybe in a room full of senators. Yet another shot of the TIE fighter breaking out of the hangar. Another shot of Cassian and what again appears to be that riot scene from the start of the trailer. We can tell that by those distinctive columns in the background. Is it me or is he wearing a different outfit in this shot? And as he dives over a table here, we see this spider logo on the wall. I don't know if this is relevant. If you do, let me know. Couple of frames of an explosion in a corridor. Nothing really to see here. Brief shot here of Bix fighting this Imperial officer. This appears to be on the Wheat Planet, presumably during her escape and her reunion with Andor. Looks like another angry population riot scene. And if I brighten this up, can we see maybe some kind of mask there on the guy on the right? Is that a welding mask? Could this be Ferrix? Brief shot of Cyril's mum. Thanks for that. Another one of the civil unrest scenes. And another scene with Saw Gerrera where he goes off on one of those tangents. No idea where they are or who this guy is in the mask. If you know, let me know. And for the final scene, of course, we rest on Cassian. He looks very slick and well dressed in this one, and we can tell from those columns in the background this is once again that same planet. But curiously, as I said earlier, when you see that scene on the same planet where he's jumping over the desk, he looks completely different. Given how much of this location we've seen in the trailer, I think it's fair to say we're probably going to spend a bit of time on this world, whatever it is. Overall, I think this is a brilliant trailer with a huge amount to unpack. So get down in the comments. I want to hear your theories. I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think about what I think of this? Do you disagree? Do you know things I don't? I want to know. Get down in the comments now. And a massive thank you for staying with me all this way through my very first video. It's massively appreciated. I'd love to be making a lot more Star Wars videos for you. So if you can like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever you can do to help me grow the channel, I'd be very, very appreciative. And don't forget, if you like Fallout, I have a sister channel, Fallout Play Build Collect. Get over there for all your Fallout content. As always, check the description for links. And I hope to see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.